So we're going to start, first of all, in set position. Hands just by your thighs, relaxing through your shoulders, and just basically standing tall with your best posture and bringing a little bit of engagement into your core. When you're ready from here, you're just going to bring the arms forward and then roll the arms back. Just letting the head start to move. Letting the chin tuck in towards your chest. And as you roll the arms and the shoulders back, both of them, start to just turn and open your palms up towards the ceiling. Breathe in to come forward, breathe out, open. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Give me 4 more. Knees are nice and soft. Maybe allowing yourself to roll a little further forwards in your last 2. And then we're going to come to our wraps. So hands down by your thighs. We're going to wrap to the right and then back to the centre. We're going to add a little side step in whenever we're ready. Keeping your left foot pressing down to the floor. And also trying to get your shoulders nicely stacked above the hips. Sometimes we almost lean across. The taller you stay, the more rotation you'll find in your spine. Let the shoulders and the arms relax. So it's when you turn your upper body, that's when the arms just swing and wrap around your waist. 2 more to your right. And then staying in the centre. From here, hands come behind your back. You're going to stride your right foot forward. Keep the left heel on the floor and just bring your chest forward now. When you come forward, try not to let the shoulders round in towards each other. Keep the shoulders held back. So it helps to clasp the hands together so that when you hinge forward, that back stays long. You don't go as far, but you don't need to, because you find that stretch a lot sooner at the back of your right thigh. And again, just find the very edge of that stretch. And keep gently pressing back into your left heel, so it keeps the legs nice and grounded. Breathe out as you tip forward, and breathe in with your lift. 2 more again, tipping forwards. Try to breathe out as you hinge from the hips. And your last one. Now from here, take your foot out to the side. Turn your foot to the right and push your hip to the left. Arms out long, reach as far as you can, and then tip to a triangle pose. And then bring the arms back up and shoulders above hips. So reach, tip, shoulders above hips, and back to centre. Lengthening, and then tipping. Palms face down, shoulders back. Hinge, open. And then you're on time. Feel the length all the way into your fingertips. And keep that length in the arms as you tip down. 1 last time. Now from here, staying in the centre. Turn both feet out to a slight diagonal. Bend your knees and then reach up and press your palms. So the knees bend, the hips sit back, and then we grow. In through the nose, out through your mouth. Feel the weight sitting back into your heels. And then start to feel your knees pushing out towards your toes. So hopefully starting to feel a little bit more stretch in those inner thighs. Now see how long you can make yourself here. Really press up through the hands. But as you press up through your hands, press down through your heels at the same time. Perfect. Opening. And once more. Now from here, you're going to bring the hands down to your thighs. You're going to reach over to your right. So the palm of your hand presses to your right knee and then to your left. So nice strong arm reaching across. Feel how that brings some rotation through your upper body. Now as you twist to your right, push back into your left foot and vice versa. Now so you can let the hips come a little lower. Maybe pushing the hips back to feel a deeper stretch. And again, just allowing the hips, the knees, the spine and then the head to move. Once more each way. And then we're going to come back into the centre. So when you're ready, walking your feet in, and this time, same thing with the arms. We're going to bend the knees, and we roll a little further down. Stay with a range that feels comfortable and controllable. So everything's a nice, smooth movement. And as you lift and turn your palms up to the ceiling, you want to feel that stretch and openness across the front of the chest, across the front of your shoulders. Again, you might allow yourself to come that little further forwards. Breathing in, breathing out to roll back. And again, just listening to your body and doing what feels right for you. One last time. We're going to wrap to the left. So let your arms wrap to the left. And then when you're ready, add in your step. There's a little bend of the knee. And physically feel your weight shifting into your left foot and then pulling back with your right leg. Now let the arms go. Let them just naturally swing and wrap around your waist. Like you're giving yourself that well-deserved big hug. Now think about the length up through the spine. It's tempting to let your whole body tip to the side. Stay tall. Let the breath go. And again. And a couple more. And then from here, in the centre, we're going to step the left foot forward. So hands come to centre, clasp your hands, stride forward with your left foot. Shoulders, draw them back, and then tip from your hips. Now your hips might turn a little to the side, so try and get your right hip bone to turn and point to your big toe, and then hinge forward. And the more you keep the pelvis nice and square, and pointing towards that big toe, the more stretch you're going to feel in the hamstrings. A little pinch between the shoulder blades. And breathe out as you go into that stretch. Because it's the out breath that allows the muscles to relax a little bit more. Breathing out through the mouth. In on the lift. And one more time. We're going to come back to our triangle pose. So from here, you take your left foot out to the side, turn the toes to the left hand side, and square the hips. Arms lift, reach, and then tip. Arms come back, and shoulders come back. So find the length first, hand towards the inside of the knee, arms back, and pull back. Now, either the inside of the knee, or you might feel it comfortable going towards the ankle. Feeling the stretch through your waist. And as you tip, feeling that stretch coming into your left leg. Maybe the inner thigh, or all the way down the back of your thigh. Still thinking about a nice long spine. And the more you keep the length in your spine, the better you're going to feel the stretch. Even if you don't go as low. Both feet, anchor them into the floor. I like that one, especially on this side. And let's do that one last time. So finding that length, easing down and resetting. From here, taking both feet out to the diagonal, open the knees, reach to your left knee and reach to your right knee. Turn the head, turn the shoulders. Look back over the shoulder. Feel the rotation into your spine. Let the knee come all the way over the heel. So you've got that nice 90-degree angle at the knee. And as you let your weight come into one leg, push back into the other foot. Then feeling the hips going a little bit lower and bringing the hand down towards the ground. The inside of the foot. That's helping to ease those hips off. Once more each side. And then we rest in the centre. Big lift of the arms, turn your palms and press. Bend both knees, sink halfway up, sink again and reach. Again, come down, halfway, reach and press. Breathe in, let it go. Perfect. And just a couple more there. Feeling the weight sinking back into those hips each time. Last time. And pause. Bring the hands down. Walk your feet in. From here, I'm going to turn to the side so it's easy for you to see. Like we did in Pilates, a little tucking of the chin. Walk the hands forward. And then bring your knees down to the floor. So let's just loosen up the back. Take your cat stretch and pull your hips back and then come forward. So you're tucking under with the tailbone. As you tuck under with your tailbone, it's pulling the top of your pelvis away from your bottom rib. And it's helping to increase that distance between the ribs and the hips. And that's the muscles that get quite tight in our lower back. So the more you scoop under before you ease back, the more you're going to feel the stretch in that lower back. So give me a couple more here. Okay, from here, we're going to come into a kneeling hamstring stretch. So bringing the shoulders above the hips. If you need to rest your hand on something, a couch or a wall, that's fine too. We're going to bring our right leg forward. Now, if you're happy, you can let your hands sit on your hips, roll the shoulders back, and just hinge forward a little. So you're not going too far. Your main focus is keeping that right leg out straight and keeping your posture nice and strong. Now from here you can take the hands behind the back, clasp the hands together, pull the shoulders back and try and keep the shoulders held back when you hinge forward. Feel the difference that makes. Much more stretched into the hamstrings. So give me a couple more. And then we're going to work into the hip flexors and then we'll alternate between the two. So bending your front knee, let that back hip drop. Almost tuck under with your tailbones, it's helping to open the front of your left hip. And then just reach the arms up, turn your palms and press. Breathe in, lift your chest. Breathe out, ease back. Breath in to release. So just moving the shoulders slightly back and forwards. Gently squeezing the bottom to push the hips forward. And a couple more. So now we're going to alternate between those two movements. If you need to, at any point you can put a cushion or a towel under the knee if it feels uncomfortable. So let's squeeze, whoops, the arms back, straight leg, and then lift the arms and come down to your hip flexor stretch. So hands come back, chest comes forwards. Breathe out, push the bottom back. Breathe in, lift the chest. And a couple more each way. So feel the stretch moving from the back of the leg into the front of your hip. Last time here. And then bring both hands down to the floor. Your front leg, bring the heel back so it's directly below your knee. You can keep this back knee down. Your right arm is going to turn. You're going to pull your right shoulder back and that right arm reaches up to the ceiling. So back knee on the floor, or you can lift that back knee off the floor. If the back knee is lifted off the floor, lengthen and strengthen that back leg. Breathe out through the mouth as you lift and open, and a breath in as you lower. And a couple more. Keep gently pressing down to the left hand. And then bring the knee down, sorry. So your right leg here, bring the foot back a little and you're going to place your knee between your hands. So from there, you just brought the foot across to the left and then the knee comes down between the hands. Sitting back now into your hips. You can either bend this back leg or you keep that left leg straight and rest on the top of your knee and on the tops of your toes. Square your shoulders to the front of the mat. Just allow yourself to hinge forwards. Now, when I say hinge forward, again, it's really tempting just to drop the head and the shoulders. Lift the chest. Hold the shoulder blades back. And when you lower, just bend your elbows. So again, there's no change of position through the spine. And as you're pressing your right knee down to the ground, hopefully feeling a stretch coming into your right hip. Again, breathing out as you go down to that stretch. It's the out breath that's going to allow the muscles to relax more. Now, we're going to try and hold. So whether you're here, or whether you bring your hands forward and your elbows to the floor, whichever feels comfortable, but where you can also feel the stretch in the right hip. And we're now just going to rock the hips over to the left and then back to the right. So it's like you're trying to press your left hip bone towards your right heel. So that engagement through your upper back's a nice alignment, nice length all the way through. Breathe out as you roll into the hip. Breath in to ease back. Out breath, push the hip to the heel. In breath and release. And a couple more. Because that's the nice part, yeah? And then coming back into the centre. Hands under your shoulders and facing the front. So we're going to bring that right foot, I should be facing that way now. So your right foot should be to the inside of your thighs because I've turned around. So once you're here, nice and anchored with the hips, reach the ankle up to the ceiling and come into a side bend. And then pull your elbow back. So you're sliding your left hand towards your ankle and the fingertips of your right hand reaching towards your toes. Now start to lift with your ribs. So you're lifting from here. And as you lift your ribs, push your bum down into the ground and feel how that helps bring a much deeper stretch into that right hand side. Breathe out and go for the stretch. Breathe in and release. And one last time. Now from here, bring both legs out wide. Knees and toes point to the ceiling. Take the legs back as far as you comfortably can, hands behind the bottom and lift up your chest. Keeping your left hand anchored to the floor, bring your right arm forward. Push forward and lift. Slide your thumb up towards the ceiling. You feel your weight rocking forward into your hips, but this left shoulder stays back in set position. So if you keep that left hand glued to the floor just behind your bottom, it should help keep that left shoulder back. And it stops us rounding through the spine. And that helps bring even more stretch into the hamstrings and more than likely the inner thighs as well. Now lift the head, lift the eye gaze. Breathe out through the mouth. Breathe in as you ease back. Out and lift. In and release. 2 more. And your last one. Hold in. Bring the left arm around. Level up the hands and then ease them down to the floor. Again, pull the shoulders back. So it's almost like you're pushing your heart forward between the hands. And then you can bend both elbows. Or you might prefer to just stay here. If you're bending the elbows, don't bend the back. Again, you're trying to hinge from the hips. And as you hinge forward, press the bottom down to the floor at the same time. Deepens the stretch even more. Feel the out breath. Breathe in and release. And again, 3, 2, and your last one. Perfect. Walk the hands back. Come back into your box position. So bring the legs together, hands under shoulders and knees beneath the hips. And let's work with that cat stretch and release of our lower back. So you scoop under with your tailbone and pull the hips back to the heels and then come back into a flat back. So scooping under, setting the hips back, and almost feel like you're being pulled back with your belly button. So imagine someone's got a string attached to your belly button, but pulling you back with it each time. Trying to really point the hip bones towards the elbows as you sit back. And a couple more. And then from here, we'll come back into our hamstring stretch. So it's going to be your left leg. I appreciate I've gone the wrong way around this time again. So you bring your left leg forward. You're going to square the hips, lift the chest. Now from here, when you're ready, bring the hands to your thighs and bring the shoulders above your hips. The right hip turns into its pointing towards your big toe, so the hips are nice and square. From here, hand to thigh, just a little hinge forward, and then easing back. As you hinge forward, don't let the shoulders close in on each other. The challenge is as you hinge forward, to keep those shoulders back. A little bit more challenging, you can clasp the hands behind the back. And remember, we're looking for a hamstring stretch, not a back stretch. So push the bottom back. And almost feel like you're pulling your sit bone away from the back of your knee. Breathe out as you ease forwards. Breathe in as you release. Once more. Now in to the hip flexor stretch. So we come forward, we let that back hip drop, reach the palms up and press. Ease the arms back and then the hips. So again, just let that hip drop forward. And don't force it, just feel a mild stretch each time. Again, if you need a cushion or a towel under your knee, that's fine. Breathe out through the mouth. Sink down into your hips. Breathing through the nose. With the out breath, try and relax and let go wherever you can. Or one more time. We're going to alternate between the two. So your hamstring stretch, you can bring the hands down to the floor. And then as you come forward, the hips sink and the arms lift. So again, hands behind the back or down to the floor. And then arms overhead and hips sink down. And just easing from one to the other. So we transfer the stretch from your hamstrings into your hip flexors. Fingertips down if you can, or behind the back. And again, each time when you push the bottom back, feel like you're pulling your bottom away from the back of your knee. And twice more. This is the nice bit. Ish. And now bring your hands down. So you can either keep that back knee resting, or you can lift that back knee up. Your left arm is going to roll back and then tap the floor. You'll turn your head and your shoulders to the left. You're keeping your knee over your heel. You're also going to press down to the heel of your right hand. Remember that back knee can rest on the floor or stay with the knee lifted. But as you're moving your upper body, you're trying to keep the legs and the hips nice and still. One more. And then both hands come down. So this left knee now, if you bring your foot back and then let your knee come down between your hands. Back leg, we extend straight. Again, knee can bend and point forwards, or you can roll onto the top of the knee and the top of your toes. Arms out straight, shoulders back. Square the hips, so your right hip, is rolling towards your left heel. And then just a little bend at the elbows. Breathing as you hinge forwards. And breathing out with your lift. Again, try not to bend from the back. And again, as we keep the back straight, still keeping our postural muscles switched on. And it's helping to get a deeper stretch into your hips. So you're pressing that left knee down to the floor. Breathing in as you lift your chest. And a couple more. Just easing into it, allowing the muscles to soften, allowing them to relax. Now bring the hands a little further forward. You can either stay here and just rock your hip over to your heel, so your right hip, to your right heel. Totally confused myself then, doing it the opposite way around. Confuse you all as well, but I'm sure you're used to that by now. So elbows under the shoulders or hands onto the floor, and it's your right hip that's rolling to your left heel. You almost feel like you're just trying to square and level your pelvis up to the floor, and then you can let your weight roll onto your bottom and then press it back towards the heel. Keep your shoulders nice and square to the floor. And again. And this time when you find your stretch, stay in your stretch. Feel your hips heavier and just sinking into the floor. And breathing up the length of your spine. And breathing out, letting your hips feel that little bit heavier. It's kind of nice. When you're ready, hands come back and we come up into seated. So we can keep the right leg out straight this time, left foot to right thigh, and I'm back in right position with you all. Reach towards the ankle and lift up to the ceiling. A side bend in your own time. Feel the spine moving. Feel your ear comes towards your shoulder. So we get a stretch into the neck that creates that nice C shape from the neck down to the spine. And try and keep your arm coming by your ear so it stops you tilting forwards. Again, you might not go as far, but then you can feel more stretch down the side of the body rather than going further and letting the arm come forward. So you're going to breathe out and reach towards the toes. Take your ear towards your shoulder. Breathe in with the lift. And breathe out to let it go. And 2 more. Lengthening all into those fingertips. And now back into the hamstrings, I'm afraid. Take your legs out wide. Knees and toes point to the ceiling. Adjust your legs to wherever you feel comfortable-ish, that you've got to stretch. Hands behind the bottom and push the hands into the floor and lift your chest. Keep the right hand super glued to the ground and let your left hand just drift forwards and then upwards. Breathe in as you ease back and breathe out to lift. So you feel that you're rocking forward into your hips, but you're not letting your feet rock, you're still keeping those toes and knees pointing upwards. Feel the out breath. Keep that right shoulder held back. And 1 more time. And let the hand rest in front of the shoulder. Bring the right hand around, level your hands, bring them down to the floor, and that might be enough. Or again, holding the shoulders back and tipping forward from your hips. Bending the elbows, ease into the stretch, and then ease back. And again, as you hinge forward, just finding the stretch, holding into that stretch, and then easing back. Just allowing the muscles to stretch a little bit longer when you're down there. And then easing back. Breathe out as you tip forward. And breathe in to release. So the out breath hopefully allows you to relax a little bit further into the legs. And 1 more time. Now bringing it back into the outer thighs and the hips. So we're going to bring our right foot in and then our left foot in front of our right. Now you can either sit with the left foot in front of the right or lift it onto your calf or up onto your thigh. Then your challenge is to try and press that left knee down so it levels the knees. And if the knee's still up here, adjust your foot so you can encourage the knee down. So once you've got the stretch in the hips, you've got both sit bones anchored to the floor, hands down, reach your left hand across to your right thigh. Press against your right thigh and pull your right shoulder back. and then grow tall. Breathe in all the way up the spine, and then breathe out to encourage your twist. At the same time, pressing your left buttock down to the ground, nodding the chin into the next long, and then see if you can turn a little bit further. And resting in the centre, so bringing both hands to centre. From here, just easing over to your left, and then back to the centre, to the left again. Just going with the right arm, and coming back to the floor. So your left hand stays super glued to the floor. And notice now as you're moving your head and your spine, your hips aren't rocking. The hips stay grounded. So it starts to encourage a stretch through the muscles that attach the hips. And hopefully in time it makes the hips a little bit more free. And once more. And resting. Release the legs. Take the feet wide. And just to release the hips now, just roll to your right, press both knees down, and then roll to your left and press the knees down to the floor. As you press the knees down, lift the chest up. Breathe in, breathe out, pull through the chest. In through the nose, out to go into your stretch. A couple more each side. So it's just like a little bit of a massage and a bit of a release for the hips. I always seem to come forward when I do this one. And resting in the centre. So bringing your left foot in first this time, and your right foot in front or on your calf or up on your knee. Leveling the knees. So again, when you press the knee down, that's where you're probably going to feel a stretch into the hips. Hands down, back up tall. Your right hand, to work that one out then. Your right hand to your left thigh. Press the back of your hand against your thigh, and then pull your right shoulder back. Breathe and grow. Breathe out and revolve. Press down into your right hip. So again, you're trying to keep the hips nice and level. And then let that breath run all the way from the base of your spine, up through your mid-back, through your neck, to the crown of your head. Use that out breath and just revolve a little bit further. And release when you're ready. So right hand to the floor, your left hand this time reaches over and back. And again, feel the spine, feel the neck moving. Relax the arm. Let your palm turn down to the floor so it keeps the shoulder nice and easy. Use the out breath to go into your stretch. Breathe in, reset. Breathe out, stretch. The complete opposite to Pilates. And one more time. And stay in the centre. Unravel your legs. Okay, from here, bring the soles of your feet together. And then you can bring your heels back towards your hips. Lift the chest up. And you can either just try and press the knees down on their own, or you can let the elbows rest and gently encourage the knees down. So again, looking at that stretch in the inner thigh. Or you want to go deeper, hold on to the feet, hinge forward with a nice straight back. We can even bring your hands down to the floor. Again, breathing up the length of your spine. Breathing out, encouraging the knees down. Feel the in breath. And then relax with your out breath. Maybe walk the hands a little further forwards. Again, using the breath in through the nose. Out as you relax. And in your own time, just work your way back up into the centre and back into all fours. The hands are going to come in underneath the shoulders and bring the knees back under the hips. Squaring the hips and the shoulders to the floor, and we're going to wag our tails from side to side. So you touch your bottom a little so it's lengthened at the lower back. Keeping the head and the shoulders still. Just let the hips rock from side to side. And the more you keep the ribs still, the more you're going to stretch the muscles just between the lower back, the ribs and the hips. Gently easing from side to side. And you might want to turn your head now, let your head turn. So as your hip comes to the right, look to the right. As it moves to the left, look to the left. Again, just feeling, finding that stretch, that release each time. Because that's your reward, that's the nice part. And your last one. And then resting in the middle. Tuck your toes under when you're ready. You can walk the hands back and roll onto the feet. So either feet flat or stay on the balls of your feet. And then pushing through the feet as you lift your hips. You can let everything else relax down from the head, the neck, the shoulders. Belly's lifting towards the spine. And breathing in through your nose. And breathing out to become a little bit heavier. Weight into the heels. Soften the knees as much as you need to. And just restack your spine in your own time. Draw the shoulders back and down. And again, nice big breath as the arms lift. Turn your palms, take a nice big press. And then just pull both shoulders down. And again, feel the breath in and lift. Turn your palms, press your heels down now as you press your heels up. You're stretching all the way through your midsection. And then pull down and finish with a nice wrap. Relax the shoulders, relax the arms. But keep the hips still, stay tall. And one more each way. And then we're going to enjoy some sunshine if it's still out there. Hands by your thighs, give the shoulders a lift, and let them go. And again a lift, and a release. And well done ladies, give yourself a clap. Well worked.